So obviously, with this retrograde phase going on hardcore, I've been reflecting a lot. I do that a lot. I have quite a few personal planets, or at least major planets in my chart in past houses, so I tend to dwell on past events a lot. Therefore, when it's retrograde time, especially with Mercury being my key planet and that being your thought process, definitely seem to think back to some things. So I can't remember exactly how long ago it was, but I remember it might have been like last summer. I made some sort of prediction when I was doing forecasting for each sign that Tauruses are going to be hospitalized or have some sort of health or condition where they're going to have to go and see some sort of medical professional. And coincidentally enough, I actually live with three Tauruses, and then two of my good friends are Tauruses. And you know what's really funny is that I always said I fucking hate Tauruses too. Besides my two friends, I'm not a huge fan of the other ones, but you know, do what you gotta do. I gotta be an adult. But anyway, so just love being anonymous. My two friends per se have been a-okay. They're also in the older part of the generations out of the Tauruses that I have to observe. And then the other ones have, those ones are actually closer to either the opposition with their natal Saturn and or the square before their Saturn return, which is supposed to be really traumatic times for them anyway. There's one that's 21, there's one that's 19, there's one that's 16. So the 21-year-old is having severe issues where he's going to potentially need surgery on a hip, and that has been progressively getting worse. He also had to have wisdom teeth removed and teeth removed out of his mouth as molars because they were severely infected and causing a mouth infection. I obviously won't go into any more detail than that, but. And then the 19-year-old has been having behavioral issues, which is, you know, that age anyway when you think you know everything. And then also, he has continued to have infection issues with, like a nail or something, one of his cuticles. And then the other one has actually been the worst of all of them. And I actually think, I mean, I don't have his chart done, but from what I know about him, he seems like he would be closer to the Aries side as opposed to the Gemini side. So when I say that, there's like three flavors of each sign. If you're born towards the earlier part of Taurus season, per se, or consequently, a lot of the personal planets happen to be towards the Aries, like they were lagging while the sun was in Taurus, you'll have an Aries persona to you, a vibe. If you are smack dab in the middle of Taurus season and a lot of your personal planets are directly in Taurus and you're just full-fledged Taurus and you're Taurus. If you're a late Taurus, then you'll likely have, or if, you know, the personal planets have, you know, sped ahead, then you'll have more Gemini-esque kind of qualities. So I theorize just, I've been getting fairly good at being able to guess at least the major planets, personal planets for people, that he's closer to Aries. And also having an Aries that shares a room with him now, I can, you know, compare similarities, that sort of thing. Well, that being said, Uranus being in Aries would be traumatic, and obviously the whole infection thing that seems to be a theme with Tauruses, their polarity is important when you look at medical astrology theory. So Scorpio is supposed to represent disease and infection. Bacteria. That is the polarity. So a Taurus is going to show symptoms of some sort of illness or condition or problem within the native through the archetype of Scorpio. So it would be manifesting as some sort of viral infection or infection of some kind. And he has some sort of infection in his throat. And since Tauruses rule the throat, tonsils, tonsillitis, anybody born, you know, in you know, late April into early May have a very high probability of needing their tonsils removed. In fact, will likely continue to get some sort of viral infection throughout their throats if they do not get them removed. And sometimes the doctors won't really think about it, and they'll just keep saying, oh, you just have bronchitis, or you have this, or you have that. He's actually now been in the ER, a clinic ER or whatever, quite a few times now for this, and I hope that they're actually going to schedule a consultation to remove his tonsils soon, because that would be the best thing for him. Tauruses should get their tonsils removed. If you have throat issues and you're a Taurus, it's a continual problem, get your tonsils removed. You don't need them, okay? So I just thought that was interesting because, again, the astro-psychoanalytic spectrum with astrology, I've been great at for many years. The prediction thing, which obviously I'd like to, I'm not trying to boost my ego any more than I need to, but I have been, I would say, impressively, surprisingly accurate for the most part. The only thing that I've been having issues with is time. Being able to be a good judge on the time restraints or the time periods things are going to happen, which apparently seems to be something that a lot of astrologers struggle with. But I just thought I would just reiterate on that, and also look back at that video at what specific aspects or what placements I saw that made me determine that. I would assume that it's something to do with things obviously being in the 12th house, but I'll have to look at that. I think it might have been Saturn. That would make total sense.